All right, all right, all right. What's up, folks? Man, we alive. We're alive. I took off today, so I want to get into this. I got time. So I've been seeing this thing circulating, man. It's been popping on my feed, but usually I haven't tapped into it. I don't really tap all the time into the Camron and Mase show at all. Uh, Not into a lot of the kind of sports dialogue shows, not all the time, especially when they don't. It's always too much giggling, laughing, not them covering over the topic. So I shift away from that shit. It's not. I'm not part of the audience that is shifted towards that. Depending on the times, because you go through certain kind of modes, certain kind of mindsets on what type of delivery on shit you want to hear. But they do have a great show. They have a very great show, and it shows with the level of production, the people they're able to hire. They coordinate a very good show. And that's one thing I would not knock or take from it. I love the success that they having over at that show. But in the guest appearance from Adrien Broner, when he was brought on here, and Adrien Broner, who lacks, he is many, many decades behind in the department of maturity, growth, development. All that shit lacks from this dude. And that once again points back to parenting from some of the teachings that this kid was not blessed with. Uh, and it's his fault at this point being an adult. And then on the other side, it's not his fault. A lot of shit points back to his parents. But Camron's handling the situation and diffusing Adrien Broner's approach that got him kicked off was him constantly making passes at the female on the show. Her name's Stat or something. And his constant flirtation with her, even when asking the questions, and then making comments, which nothing is wrong with the comments. He is a man, and this in this day and age, f all that Me Too shit and acting like a dude can't approach a woman. A man should be able to approach a woman, especially if he finds her attractive. He should definitely make a pass at her, and nothing is wrong with Adrien Broner doing that. But the fact that Camron told him, like, "Hey, homie, she here with her baby dad. Her dude is back there." But also with this chick, and I understand her approach of not making too much out of it, but man, you don't open a dude to constant flirtation of you not, really checking shit at the door of, yo, my dude back there, whoop, 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 da, 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 I got a kid, all this other shit. She could have put an end to it as well. And I like the fact that Cam stood in there. Cam showed great respect for the lady, great respect for her dude, the fact that she has a child with this dude, and also his approach to putting AB up off the show. He did it like a straight gangster. He did on some real gangster shit. And what I mean by gangster, not no drive-by shooting shit, not know where you're from, cuz and blood, none of that shit. That shit ain't gangster to me. But the approach of doing that shit like a straight up man, an honorable man, a man with wisdom is how he said, "Hey, AB, I have to ask you to leave. I'm gonna pay you for your time, gather his money, counted up his money." And then anybody else would have been like, "F you. You ain't come on this show. You only been here 5 minutes." But he said, "No, I'm gonna honor you. I'm gonna pay you off." Because what Camron recognized also that there's definitely something going on with this dude. Definitely going on. This dude is still probably involved in his alcoholism. He's definitely probably putting shit up his nose or popping pills and shit. But this dude ain't even in the right space. And it's a bad look for AB. It's a bad look for AB going forward. If he can go and get other interviews, other speaking engagements. Because this ain't the first time we've seen this shit with AB. We haven't seen AB in a long time do an interview since he did that shit on the Danzin Project, which is one of their hit interviews. And I don't know if they removed it. I hope they didn't remove that interview when AB went on their show. And AB went on there high as fuck. He was definitely on alcohol, and he was definitely under the influence of some sort of drug and just out of it. And it got so bad to where they were even talking about removing the interview. And his AB was gearing up for a damn fight. I think that was a fight when he went into with Blair Cobb and then get his tooth knocked out. But it was like the handling of this one. The handling of this was perfect by Camron. And then once AB is gone, And in the minutes that I listened to it, because I think they're gonna come back to the show and make it a laughing matter at joking about kicking AB off. No, they got right back to the subject that they was on when they asked him the question before he goes back to hitting that old girl. Because they get right into football. And that's some honorable shit. Not to clown this dude, not to make, fun of him or try to kick him when he's off the show and do all that backstabbing shit. He did some honorable shit. And I think that's kind of a model that a lot of people can end up following this shit. Who end up with guests like that. And then CJ in the building, salute to my nephew CJ. He says AB was out of pocket. Says Cam had talked to him like a kid. Says Cam had talked to him like a kid. Yeah, he's like, you gotta go up out of here, homie. He's like, I told you. Think Cam told him that he told him, like, her dude is here. That's her baby back there. Like, what are you doing? Like, nah. And the chick could have also been like, hey, I'm taking her dude back there, this and that. And if he would have respected or not, then they would have really had to get him up out of there. But Cam got him up out of there real quick because Cam seen that the show wasn't going to go nowhere with this fool on there. You ask him a question, he back on this chick. You ask him some boxing related shit, he back on this chick. So it clearly seems like the fool ain't in his right mind. This fool needs help. He needs this money. I'm not going to kick him off of here and leave him broke. I'm going to bless him with this cash because he also brought up a thing of where he cried. He brought up a story about him hanging out with Tank Davis. He had a casino or some shit. Tank Davis didn't know he was there. They hung out the whole night. And before the night ends, he spoke about how he cried because Tank Davis gave him every single penny that was in his pocket. Now, why would Tank Davis do that to a guy who has touched multiple millions in his boxing career? It's because now AB is broke. And that's the sad thing. And even Cam is showing that shit, which I don't think Cam wanted to show that shit, and it probably hopefully went over people's heads, is the fact that Cam is having to give this guy money on this show. And didn't put on camera of how much money he's giving, but he gave this guy money because this guy is in need of money. He done fucked off millions, and his behavior is why he fucked so many millions off. His behavior is why. His parents are why. And that's why it's important when it comes to having kids and being a parent that you teach these motherfuckers shit. And why it is important to balance out how fun you can be with your children and then how strict you have to be and shit. There's a great balancing act in that shit of not just allowing your kids to be exposed to too much of the shit, too much of the ignorant shit that adults do. And AB's been exposed to it because you can go back through AB's life, even when they shown AB as a young amateur kid, like a 8-year-old or some shit, where he was a highly recognized young American amateur boxer and shit. At like 10, y'all remember that kid back in the day when the internet first started popping? Was a young kid out of Ohio named Bam. There was another young kid named Bam and shit. I used to think that fool was AB and shit. But then when AB does this interview that they show out there from a local Cincinnati news station, the lady was asking AB, said, what would you think you'd be doing if you weren't boxing? This fool said he'd be out there robbing. He'd be out there breaking in the cars or robbing something like that. But he was something like some criminal shit. And this is a motherfucking like 10-year-old saying this shit. And then when AB pop on the scene as an adult, when I seen him have his father brush his hair, I said, man, his father's a fucking idiot. Any real father would have smacked that brush across his fucking head. Don't you ever think you're going to embarrass me in front of the world or even at home playing that shit. And then Mark Summers says there's a time and a place, says for everything. Absolutely. Vlasica says happy 8 Tuesday. And he says I talk to Al every day, AB. The one thing I can say with AB is that when they asked the question about Floyd, is that he didn't really go into like trying to be, have a slanderous ass response to the question of Floyd. He spoke about how him and Floyd, like his respect for Floyd is still there, still high. And then Mir says, because AB fucked everything off. Didn't nobody F over AB. AB F'd everybody off. And AB should have everything. Because the one thing about AB, unlike many people in this era of boxing, is AB fought everybody. AB fought everybody. Unlike everybody else in this era. AB didn't even fought Manny Pacquiao. And then Mir says AB was drunk like always. Yeah, that shit crazy. And I think he out here in Vegas because I think the Cam and Mase show is in Vegas. And then Picasso says she could have told him she's not interested. She could have said that too. Says Rampage Jackson be jumping reporters, but nobody kicked him off the show. Says AB must have been acting a damn fool. Says I wouldn't allow disrespect either. Yeah, AB was just doing too much. Rampage make those little sexual comments to chicks as well, and them chicks because probably off the camera, them chicks are probably flirty with him. He probably done been in parties with him. He probably done fucked some of them. And then Velocity Cuss says AB was smooth when he told Cam if she's Arabian, says I'm Saudi. Yeah, I heard that shit. Because AB got witty responses, man. He a comical dude, but with the fact that he's dealing with whatever depression he's going on, whatever battles he's facing, he got all these kids from these different chicks. These chicks won't let him see his kids. That shit right there is probably added into his dependence on the bottle and shit. Is the fact he fucked over so many relationships. And you know, I knew that shit was gonna go bad for AB. It goes back to the brushing the hair shit. When he had the last chick he was with, who he got kids with, and she was fined in the motherfucking. And in his post-fight press conference, this nigga get on his knees and hand this bitch the brush. He handed her motherfucking ass a brush, man. Oh man, that chick was mad than a motherfucker. That shit was mad as fuck. Oh my god, man. And that's when that fool life turned into hell, because that chick was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get the last laugh on your stupid ass. And that's really what ended up happening, man. You can't play with a lot with chicks' hearts, homie. You just can't do that shit. And being player and shit. Like AB is not player made. AB got game. AB can crack. But that fool far from player made, man. He be playing with these chicks' hearts, selling them bullshit dreams, motherfucker popping up with kids all over the place, misleading another chick's heart. And the ultimate payback and revenge is go, she got kids with you? You live in a motherfucking country that's bound by laws and a system? Man, fool, that chick about to slaughter you. And that's exactly what happened. Fool end up getting slaughtered through the system. He don't get. He be always talking about how he don't see none of his kids. You don't even see him posting photos with his kids and shit. And them chicks probably go to court with like he's irresponsible, he's a danger to these kids, the environment he had these kids around, and he presents all that shit. He shows that shit, and it's sad to see that this dude was a multi-millionaire, and this is the common thing with a lot of these athletes that people talk about. It's touching on multi millions, and then the type environment and the outside of, you know, what makes the money type of shit they surround themselves with, man, is the make or break. That's why that lifestyle you got to live is everything. And then AB probably took that opportunity, says, to give people he is mentally disturbed. Oh wait, AB probably took that opportunity to give people. Damn, Picasso can't write for shit. Oh my god. AB probably took that opportunity to give people he is mentally disturbed, to tell people he's mentally disturbed, not give. Says dudes like him, says, get humble eventually. Says he'll only go where people let him go, or let him go, or let him play. You got me reading fucked up. Says he'll only go where people let him play. Man, I don't think nobody bring him back on there. It's an embarrassment. You can't bring him on a national TV show. You can't bring him in when actual professional business is being conducted. You can't give him a commentating job, which would put money in his damn pocket, stop him from having to get into the ring, because I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to go through training camps. He's only forced to go through that shit to provide himself with some finances and shit. But if AB cleaned himself the fuck up and got serious about shit in life, go to some fucking type of counseling, clean himself up, the perfect place for AB to go is for one of them Nation of Islam cats to lock this fool into a room and clean him the fuck up. Because the Nation of Islam has proven track record of being able to change people who've gone down that wrong direction. That's probably what this dummy needs. And then therefore he'll be able to earn himself some money as a damn commentator. And I'm pretty sure he'll be great at the shit. But with his current state and mental, kind of mental space that he's in, man, this fool is limiting the fuck out of himself. And even that mental, the behavior of him has limited him in the space of boxing. Because that fool AB was on a path to doing this shit. AB was on a pathway of doing this shit. And just went ape shit crazy with it. And then Alexander Wilson says, because AB was a motherfucker was able to fill seats in the arena. That's how he got the Pacquiao fight. And he says Broner got $4 million judgment against him, says, for punching a man in Vegas. And that's the lawsuits is the other thing. You are right. He got one for, what did he do? He did something to a chick. He lost a lawsuit for doing something to a chick. Then he did have the one with the phone thing, like, and all it's gonna do is frustrate him, man. He mess around, do some other worse shit, or somebody beat him up and embarrass his ass. Lassie Cuss says AB should put the gloves down, says, and create a podcast with Charleston White. Man, that'll be a disaster, homie. I don't think people need to partner with other people to do great podcasts. He can do that shit on his own. Charleston White is another goddamn unstable idiot who should only do content with himself or do content with a more balanced ass person on there with him. Two imbalanced ass people, and the fact that Adrien Broner can fight, you'll fuck around and have AB back in court. Charleston White would sue him. Charleston White to get the pepper spray he tries to use on people shoved up his goddamn ass, and then he'll be suing the hell out of Adrien Broner. So hell nah. And Vlasic Cuss says they say I was giving AB cash allowance, says, from the Pacquiao fight. I remember he was crying about that, or the YouTubers on here complaining when they hear AB complain that Al Heyman was issuing his money. Al Heyman be right on these fighters, bro. Al Heyman is always right on these fucking fighters. He's way older than them. He done lived life. He done been around a bunch of superstars. He done help make rich and ultimately to see them go broke. He's seen the direction AB dumbass is going down. A lot of people, Al Heyman be keeping the money. These niggas don't be knowing shit they be talking about. Just running their mouths because they hate black in power, in positions of power. And that's the thing that they have. It's something that they ain't used to. It's no different than them seeing a black motherfucker fly plane, a black person writing prescriptions or conducting anything inside the medical field. Some black motherfuckers are unaccustomed to that shit and think the most negative shit about seeing that shit. The same thing when they seen an Al Heyman come into the sport and change it for a great amount of time before the fighters fucked it up. So he knew that shit with AB. He probably gave AB all the money. Like, fuck this fool. I ain't about to deal with this idiotic fool who too dumb to know when he has a blessing in front of him. And then Picasso says it's no different than Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson was on the same path of being a nigga on the streets like he Delonte West and shit. Until somebody did the right thing in securing whatever type of investing they did with his money to where he fucked off all his money. That money kicked in right at a time where he probably needed it. But once again, you can't blame. You got to look at what type of parenting he comes from. Stories out there about his mother and shit. Father nowhere in sight. Picasso says most of the time, says these local gyms are recruiting dudes from prison, says giving them a chance to make money, says with all that prison mentality, says they have, says, but AB is the opposite, says he's doing boxing, heading to jail but AB was probably surrounded around the same type of people, he was kept in the gym. And I heard people many times use that shit with certain fighters. Oh man, you ain't street. You've been in the gym your whole life. And that shit is far from the truth. A lot of these kids come from that environment. They still hang with these dudes. They still want to be part of that shit. They just always had an older person that has always dragged them to the gym. But it's at times those kids are still out there in the same community doing the same shit as other people. That street lures a lot of these young dudes because it's the environment they come from. It's all they know. It's the shit they've been exposed to at very young ages. Doing things the right way is a square way to a lot of these dudes. So there's always a constant tug and pull with young dudes like that. That's why the mind, man, the effects that shit has on the brain is crazy. The environment shapes a person brain and shit. And there's a constant battle. So some of these motherfuckers using drugs and shit to cope with shit of what they have experienced and seen. I think a lot of people ignore that shit. A lot of people ignore that shit when they look at people and see. I can know how to just sit back and observe and look at shit because I know what the fuck I'm looking at. I done seen it, done experience. I didn't harbor views like other people. But lucky coming out of a good household, knowing how to suppress a lot of shit. Because a lot of shit is so easy for a young motherfucker to fuck up. And trust me, I know. Because I done had shit cross my mind that probably had me locked away for the rest of my fucking life. But I'm in control of my fucking mind. A lot of cats probably are in control of their lives, but been placed in scenarios or in situations and in the situations just happen so quick for them. But the mind is a motherfucking thing that one has to have it developed. And that's the importance of having a balanced environment, because all that over the board strict shit that some adults pull with children is wrong. It's no different than you letting a kid do what the fuck he wants. You have to balance that shit out. An environment for a kid has to be a happy one. Therefore, their brain ain't in constant battle of fucking trauma and shit. Picasso says, yep, says you're right. Says my first spar was some dude says looked like he was fresh out the pen. And the Velocity Cuss says facts. Says Iverson would have been beaming up to Scotty for real. It says if it wasn't for Coach John Thompson. Yeah, Allen Iverson was about to be Duval. He's gonna be over with for that fool. Picasso says it actually says my first spar says I didn't want to get hit. Says so in my mind says I was in a real fight. Man, I was watching earlier talking about the athletes and shit. Is Antoine Bowden. I looked at a clip that was put up where they're talking football, and he was on there. I was looking at one the other day. They was talking about some of the meanest players. It was talking about the Cowboys offensive lineman Eric Williams. Who told the story? It was a dude, Delonte Walker or something. He was telling the story about Vernon Davis, how Vernon Davis was always fighting and shit. But then he was like Vernon Davis getting into a fight with Larry Allen. And Larry Allen was that motherfucking monster for the Cowboys. He was like Vernon Davis is out there. He was always squabbling with people. But everybody heard about Larry Allen when Vernon Davis is a big dude. And when he was about to go up, he was like, he wanted to help jump in, but he's like, nah, Vernon a big dude. He can handle himself. Plus, he been fighting every day in training camp. Like, he been handling his own. He said when Larry Allen got a hold of Vernon Davis, man, he said he was slanging Vernon Davis around. He was tossing Vernon Davis' ass, just slanging that fool like a rag and shit. And so so on that show, I was listening to all that shit. But then today I was listening to Anquan Bowden's story. I always thought Anquan Bowden was a damn wide receiver. I never knew he went to Florida State being recruited as a receiver. And so this fool was so talented as a football player, just an all-around athlete, that here's a dude recruited. And this is what separates us from the others when it comes to the sports shit, especially in football, is here this fool who was recruited by Florida State as a goddamn quarterback, didn't want to sit and wait behind the quarterback that they currently had. He was telling the coach that, man, I want to change my position. He was like, he played safety or corner, one of the two in high school. He wanted to switch over to that. And he was like, no. He's like, I didn't bring you over here for defense. I'm going to keep you on offense. He said for the first time ever, he ended up playing wide receiver. And he said whatever game they went into, he ended up scoring like 2 touchdowns on this team. And then that was all she wrote. A fool who was brought in as a quarterback and with the abilities is able to transition anywhere on the field. And look, I knew I'd draw this fool out. I knew I would draw this fool out. Booyah! And that's the reason why I really told that story, because I want to see if your little white ass is going to hop out the bushes. Too fucking smart. Do I get your little white ass out? He says you clearly don't know who Mike Vrabel was. I mean, I heard of him, but I don't remember him. I heard the name. How do I get this dumb white dude out? Man, you are not on my level, Mark Summers. You's a fucking peon, homie. I knew that story would draw your monkey ass out. Oh, but let's go back into another soft story because I want to get you out. This tush, the tush push. I hear these clown ass chumps is crying about the tush push. So who lost yesterday off of a tush push? Then all of a sudden, all these old weak ass nerdy motherfuckers is crying about having the tush push ban. Sit your weak ass couch potato asses on the fucking couch and shut the fuck up. That is football. There are 300 pounders, the most important people in football, not these old weak, scrawny ass quarterbacks with no abilities and shit. That shit is about mano a mano, the big dogs out there, of they test the strength. Either the defense gonna hold up and push shit back, or they gonna get walked backwards by the man. And it's simple as that. And that shit should be allowed. USC done it. Many other games have won that way. We don't need these old fantasy football, sports betting pieces of shit who lose games and crying over a tush push. That shit should be allowed. And that shit should make football more meaner. It's a tough sport. You fourth and inches. Man, get first and or fourth and goal and shit. Like clown ass, crybaby, Mark Sumner ass chumps. But Mark Summers, man, you certified a dumbass idiot, homie. I knew I'd draw you out by telling that Anquan Bolden shit because I was gonna turn it into how gifted black athletes are that he brought in as a quarterback, but can play anywhere on the field. And boom, just like clockwork, your dumbass responds. Who's the racist? Your white ass. Picasso says, oh wait, I read that one, didn't I? Yeah. And then we get Mark Summers to jump out the bushes. And then Picasso says, Eric Williams, I remember him, says shit. Michael Irvin is says in a YouTube interview, says recently was over there in Florida, says fighting his ass off, says swinging first on any says on any drama. He was fighting who? Or was that some old shit when he played? Says lots of football players are like that. Baseball too. Yeah, Mark Summers, we ain't talking about people look like you. Picasso rolling. And he says, yeah, says, I bring you facts. Nah, you don't bring shit. I know how to lure your little fucking dingy ass out the motherfucking hiding. And he says, yeah, says it was an ignorant racist comment. Nah, nothing racist about my comment. Your racist ass jumping out them bushes when I make that little comment. And then the Velocity Cuss says, hey, Veggie, says, Dennis Green says, do you recommend Joe Burrow to retire like you suggest Aaron Rodgers too? Aaron Rodgers should definitely retire. That motherfucker garbage, trashed in the motherfucker. I don't know much about Joe Burrow. I've just been hearing about his toe. But I think I was hearing people talk about the seriousness of that toe injury. The fact that you can't come back from that shit. Shit, because what they talking, he out for 3 months, so that shit must be serious. That's what fucked Troy Polamalu up. I used to think Polamalu was going to break his goddamn neck. That fool is one of the scariest damn people I've seen on a football field. I used to think that fool. I used to be like, if I ever play football and the quarterback throw me the ball with Polamalu on the field, I'm going to punch that nigga. I don't know how football players used to want to catch the ball in the area that crazy nigga in. So I used to always think Polamalu was going to get hurt, like breaking a shoulder. I thought he'd mess up a knee. He'd end up getting a concussion or breaking his neck or some shit. That fool fucked his toe up. And even the thing with Deion. Is that why Deion losing his fucking toes and shit? Because I think what ruined Deion's career was a toe injury and shit. Deion, one of the fastest fools ever played football, lost his speed, not only because of age, but that toe injury. I think I heard Shannon them the other day speaking on his brother having that injury, some other teammates. So yeah, he might have to retire or play backup like a mug. Or the best thing to do is just sit back. But they put so much pressure on these guys to rush from injuries and shit because these guys are always battling for starting positions and shit. And they rush back and shit because the competition to keep a job and not losing it and shit. Because says all these sports teams says be having fights like crazy. Says some sports fights more than others. Man, football, them fools be squabbling, but they be having all them helmets on and shit. Mark Summers says classic rage bait, says Reggie Owens. No, if you wasn't such a racist, you wouldn't respond to comments like that. But I know how to get you to respond because I know who you are. I got a PhD in people and studies on people like you. And then Picasso says, without even having to go to university, no university offers the PhD I have on assessing suburbanites like you, or suburbanites, people live in the hill country and all that other shit. Picasso says, where Aaron Rodgers come from? Says, was it indoor semi-pro league? Aaron Rodgers, nah, he a Cali kid. And then SF says turf toe, says a nagging injury, says and can go bad. So turf toe is why Patrick Willis retired, says at a young age. Oh, Willis from the 49ers, that linebacker. Why I always thought he injured like his neck or some shit. Damn, a turf toe. Says multiple turf toe procedures, says, but he was still in constant pain. Yeah, ain't nothing like fucking up a toe, man. Oh my God, the pain in that shit. Lysica says, Aaron Rodgers says, still repping for Northern Cali. Says Picasso, says, you thinking of Kurt Warner. Man, he can go take his ass back up to Northern Cal. Fuck Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers politics, he like a political idiot too. Yeah, I don't fuck Aaron Rodgers. He can go sit his weak ass down somewhere. Motherfucker is just able to get money and shit. You talking about privilege of complexion. God damn, that fool has that shit. That fool has that shit. Hey, salute to the courts, man. They end up dropping some charges against the dude who is viewed as, is viewed as a hero to some for Luigi Maggione and shit. They end up dropping some of those charges against him and shit. Then I see they want to push the death penalty on that fool that killed the American scumbag terrorist division talker and Charlie Kirk. And hopefully, they throw that death penalty shit out they want to try with that kid. Nah, maybe that kid should get it. That was a fucked up act, but that Charlie kid ain't no fucking saint. Velocity cuts in there rolling. Picasso says the turf toe says probably was Sanders' issue. Says the turf toe is probably Sanders' issue. Says look at Michael Strahan's finger. Says looks like broken branches. Yeah, shit, you trying to push back 300-pound motherfuckers? I'm pretty sure your fingers will be all dislocated. Them some strong ass dudes. You trying to move 300-pounders, which the strength of pushing forward, your hands getting bent back. Oh my God. These fools, cats that lift 500 and 600 pounds and shit. And then Picasso says Velocity Cuts, yeah, it says thanks. And the SF City Singer says Charles Woodson had, yeah, that's who they brought up. They did say Charles Woodson, turf toe, he had turf toe issues his whole career. Charles Woodson was a bad motherfucker, man. Charles Woodson was bad, homie. That was a football player right there. Charles Woodson was a game changer in college to the NFL. Oakland, Green Bay, Charles Woodson's a badass dude, homie. Like Cuss says, Slurpee Man getting grilled by Congress today. Yeah, they getting Slurpee Man. Hopefully they kick him out. But once the Republicans lose control of Congress, we'll start getting shit done. Probably get impeachment on this clown up there that Pittsburgh T and them worship like slaves. And the Picasso says a dude from my job retired. Says a dude from my job retired and had a hole growing in his foot. Says he eventually got it cut. Halfway off. And then Picasso says Woodson. My sister always crushes on Woodson. Man, what the hell you telling us that shit for? Didn't they just be writing some of the most random ass shit, man? This nigga Picasso, bro. This nigga crazy, man. But talking about that hole cutting the foot, I went to the VA today. Man, the veterans of America are fucked up. Damn, homie. I walk into that mug and I be looking like, they talk all this shit about American soldiers being all, hoorah, rough and tough and all this other shit and support the soldiers. Man, you go to the VA, you talking about looking at some fucked up people. You go right to the VA hospital. I pray I don't end up fucked up like that. And I hope I ain't talking this shit now, and then I'll be one of the motherfuckers, some younger motherfucker walking into like, God damn, that veteran fucked all the way up. But the VA, oh my God. Man, what are we doing, VA? What are we doing, America? Why do our veterans look like, I don't want to say shit, but I done said it. Why do our veterans look like shit, homie? Our veterans aging. I go in there, they missing legs. All these wheelchairs around that motherfucker. Mark Summers says Charles Woodson overrated. Man, that's how I know you stupid, homie. Your football opinion is deleted, homie. I would never listen to you talk football ever. Mir says always wrong on boxing with Reggie on. Always right, homie. I'm always right, man. Don't get me on that Canelo shit. That nigga Bud debunked the theory of the century. Velocica says Pittsburgh flee and be always jump on and steer the conversation to homo shit, shaking my head. Man, for real. Like these niggas is crazy, man. But that's what come from black folks who love Trump, man. It's always some crazy, questionable shit with them. I don't be getting that shit. Negroes who love Donald Trump and then fake like they mad at Charlie Kirk. Like that shit don't add up. They both one the same. And then but yeah, like I was saying with the veterans, man, I go to VA, I'll be like, God damn. The fuck is going on? What the fuck was we doing in the military? Like, but some of them fools from Vietnam, and I don't think it's no more World War II. It's them Vietnam era motherfuckers. The Vietnam era veterans is all the way fucked up, man. That shit look disastrous, homie. And these fools got the audacity to talk America, this and that. America don't do shit for these fucking former soldiers. That's why people don't rush to join this military. Ain't nobody rushing to join the fucking military. You don't do nothing for the fucking people of this country, but use them because they come from poor backgrounds. And the problem is that too many wealthy people have control within the system. And that's it. You want to look at how dumb niggas can be with their politics, you run down there to the VA and you talk about how proud you are to be an American. Niggas just love to recite songs and sound trendy and cool and fit in because some shit rhymes and it sounds good and gets you acceptance from motherfuckers who don't give a fuck about nothing. But that's all I got, folks. Salute to Camron for his handling of the AB situation. And AB, go get yourself cleaned up and get some help, homie. That's all I got, folks. I might get on here later on. Who knows? Peace.